Today we will study about rocks. Rocks are so trivial in our ecosystem that we hardly take note of it, is it not? Okay, coming to the topic. The rocks that we find around us could be divided into three types based on the nature of formation. They are the igneous rocks, the sedimentary rocks, and the metamorphic rocks. Let us study about igneous rocks. Igneous rocks are also referred to as the primary rocks because it is also the primary source of other rocks. Igneous rocks derive its name from the Latin word ignis, which means fire. As we have guessed it right now, igneous rocks are formed due to volcanic eruption. We know below the crust we have got molten magma. This magma emerges out of the crust. Igneous rocks could be divided into two types. One is the extrusive rock and other one is the intrusive rock. If the magma emerges out of the crust during a volcanic eruption and then solidifies, it forms extrusive rocks external to the crust. If the magma that is molten solidifies, cools and solidifies within the crust, it results in the formation of intrusive rocks internal to the crust. The temperature regimen and the pressure regimen vary, whether it is above the crust or within the crust. The extrusive rocks, which have been formed due to the rapid cooling of magma after reaching the crust, differ from the intrusive rocks, which result from the cooling of molten magma within the crust, mainly in the mineral grain size. A rapid cooling outside the crust results in finer grain structure. Prolonged and delayed cooling within the crust result in pretty bigger mineral size. I would like to highlight some examples of igneous rocks. They are basalt, granite, gabbro, volcanic breccia, tuff. So this is a general description about igneous rocks, also referred to as the primary rocks. Now let's move over to sedimentary rocks. These rocks derive its name from the Latin word sedimentum, which means settling. We know that the Earth's surface is covered by igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, and metamorphic rocks. Now, erosional agents like wind, ice, water, air act on these rocks and break down it into smaller fragments. Such fragments are carried over to large distances by erosional agents or weathering agents. After being carried over to large distances, they settle down somewhere. Under compaction, these fragments coalesce together to form rocks. This process of formation is known as lithification. This is how sedimentary rocks are formed. Sedimentary rocks, as their name suggests, arise due to the lithification of fragments. These fragments are formed due to the degradational activity of the erosional agents on the once existing igneous or sedimentary or metamorphic rocks. The most important sedimentary rocks are sandstone, limestone, loess, conglomerate, like that. Now, there are three kinds of sedimentary rocks based on that erosional agent which acted upon it. One set of sedimentary rocks are referred to as the mechanically formed sedimentary rocks. For example, water or ice are responsible for formation of mechanically formed sedimentary rocks. The second variety is organically formed sedimentary rocks. Organically, as the name suggests, biota has a role to play in the formation of such sedimentary rocks. Then comes chemically formed sedimentary rocks through precipitation. For example, limestone and chalk are chemically formed sedimentary rocks. So where are we? we have covered sedimentary rocks with some examples. Next, we will look into metamorphic rocks. Metamorphic, as the name suggests, change of form. Severe pressure and severe temperature that are often found on the Earth's crust or within lithospheric plates act on the already formed igneous or sedimentary rocks, and as a result, they tend to change their form. There occurs some kind of a metamorphosis of these already existing rocks. Such rocks are referred to as metamorphic rocks. We know that the lithosphere is divided into plates. For example, our country is located on the Indian plate. We also know that the Indian plate is pushing against the Eurasian plate, and that is the reason why the height of Himalayas is on the rise. So, whenever two plates converge, this is referred to as a convergent plate. Sometimes one plate goes below the other plate. In convergent boundaries, one plate might go below the other plate due to pressure. This is known as the subduction zone. And in such subduction zones, there will be a heavy play of temperature and pressure. It is in such circumstances that metamorphosis of rocks happen. That gives rise to metamorphic rocks. As I told you, pressure and temperature can act on the already existing rocks and result in metamorphosis. If huge amount of pressure is being applied, we refer to it as dynamic metamorphism. Instead of pressure, if it is temperature, high amounts of temperature that results in the metamorphosis, it is referred to as thermal metamorphism. Now, thermal metamorphism could be divided into two types. One is the contact type and the other one is the regional type. The contact type metamorphism and the regional type differ among each other based on whether or not the rock material that is undergoing metamorphosis comes in contact with the molten magma or not. In contact metamorphism, the rock material comes in contact with the hot molten magma and recrystallizes. But in regional metamorphism, the rock does not come in direct contact with the hot molten magma. It is within the region of the magma and is exposed to high temperature and obviously pressure, and that results in crystallization. So the only point of difference between these two types of metamorphism is whether or not the rock comes in contact with the molten magma or not. For example, granite due to metamorphism gives rise to gneiss. Limestone after metamorphism gives rise to the much needed marble. Thank you.